everyone, and welcome to DS Podcast. And yes, we're back again with another very special video and a very special guest. So I've got the man, the myth, the legend, that is Joey!
Oh my goodness, see you. Honoured to be on the show. I'm glad.
Fantastic. It's great to have you here. Now, Joey, I've met him through my time at Butlins as a red coat.
Yeah, of course.
And Joey's a fantastic red. He's a brilliant guy, and I've learned so much from this guy. Like, when he came in, he was so full of energy, and I've never... You must have, like, you know the Duracell bunny? You are literally... You are amazing.
Just for the record, I've not paid him to say that.
He hasn't, only a little bit. He's slow with that. But you're full of energy, and I love that about you, man. I love that about you. But Joey, we're going to talk a bit about your career, how you got into entertainment. Joey's also very incredible because he is fluent in Makaton. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to learn some signs, actually. We might learn some signs and see Joey in action, and we're going to learn how you developed that and how you progressed with it. And then we're going to talk, because we're football fans.
Of course.
And we're going to talk about football for the last bit of the show. And Joey is a very, very big Leicester City fan.
Come on.
Yeah, someone has to be done there. And we're going to talk about the miracle season where you won the league. Because that was the best sporting achievement of all time.
Without a doubt.
let's keep that to the end.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about your career. So entertainment now.
Okay.
How did you get into that? Was it something you were like as a kid? Did you do entertaining as a kid? Or was it something that you went, let's just give it a go?
Well, from a young age, I was in a local drama school in Nuneaton, part of the Stagecoach Performing Arts School, for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And then when I left that, when I went to secondary school, I did drama GCSE. So from that point onward, I was like, maybe this is a step for me. I did drama GCSE. But then when I left, I went into education.
Amazing.
So teaching Key Stage 1, SEN, primary school. So I had all the energy for it then. So I was like a big kid at heart, which I am to this day.
You're still a big kid at heart. I can guarantee that.
So back when I was teaching Key Stage 1, it was all about energy, smiles, vibrant passion, just like being lively.
Yeah.
Which just sums me up really. Based on the Duracell bunny, which you just said.
I love this guy so much. What was the moment where you went, this is a career though? Because we all start off with, it's a hobby, we enjoy doing it. But what was the moment where you went, do you know what, I could actually make a living out of this, and I'm going to do it, let's go for it?
Well, funny enough, do you know the honest truth? I had no intention of leaving teaching. So I was teaching for 4.5 years. I had no intention. But one day, one of my family members pulled me to one side, and she was on Facebook, and she found the Butlins Red Coat auditions forms.
Amazing.
And she was like, I think you'd be good at this. So I had a look. And it was in November the 15th, 2022, I remember the day, in Birmingham Hippodrome. And I was like, I'll go for it. And I was like, whether I get it or not, it's a fun day out and it's a new experience. So I went to the audition at the Birmingham Hippodrome, and I was nervous, but I was like, this is a new opportunity for me, for my confidence and life experience. So I did the audition. So I had to do a drama group with strangers I've never met before. So it's possible to make new friends and get to know more people, like team bonding. But then I was like, I did the drama round. I was really good at that, and then they were cutting people 10 people off judges' houses. And after every round, I was like, "Oh, hang on a minute, it's getting closer." And then it came up to the dreaded dance round, and just for the record, I can't dance the same in my life. I can't do choreography, okay? But I remember I wore a smart outfit. I don't know why. I do dancing, everyone, in Chelsea boots, suede boots, all right. And it wasn't the comfiest, it wasn't the best. But then the dance round was over. And then they called people's names, but they said, if your name's not called, you'll go progressing on. And I was like, wow. I've actually passed that round. And then we had to do a 60-second summary of yourself. So I did my Makaton and all my energy all into one. And then I remember one of the representatives from Butlins came up to me after the audition, said, you absolutely smashed it out of the park, mate.
Yeah, amazing.
And then 2 days later, I got the call.
That's amazing. How did that feel? Because it's one of those, I got the call when I got Butlins was after COVID.
Yes.
And that was such a hard period because it was so tough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I was stuck in a school, I didn't want to be there. And you get that call and it was like, wow, I'm going to be back entertaining.
Yeah,
it's an amazing feeling, isn't it?
Of course, it's surreal. But then I'll tell you the actual truth of the day, right? I finished a day of teaching, right? And I was just walking home. Then I got a missed voicemail from one of the representatives of Butlins. So I legged it back to the class to say, I've got the voice message. They're writing down a number. Can I borrow a post-it to write the number? And this was in front of my old class team.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so Key Stage 1 Lima's class, if you're listening. Representative of Dorothy Government School, if you're listening. Cheeky shout out. But yeah, I was like, oh, they wrote me the number. So like, you get the number down, we'll write it down for you. Then I answered it, and they're like, this was 2 days after the audition. They're like, we like to give you the opportunity of a role of a Butlins Red Coat, Bognor Regis.
Amazing.
And I'm not gonna lie, I jumped out my seat. I jumped out my seat, and I was going down Key Stage 1 saying, I've got the job. And then everyone was like, this is amazing. I remember my last day, we were like a staff that get together, and they were like, we're saying goodbye to a very important member of the staff, Joey, but we all know this next step is amazing for him. It sums him up, being Butlins Red Coat, and we're sad to see you go, but we are so proud of you, and we know this is the perfect stepping stone for you in later life.
And people need to hear that as well, because when, as entertainers, and I said this on my first video that I did on my own, the amount of no's you get in sometimes this industry, and it's hard to keep picking yourself up to go and go again. But when you get that yes, my word, it's a different game changer.
Another opportunity as well, because in that my last year of teaching, I had a few experiences in life which people were dragging me down. I had a few people I had to get away from, like mentally. I was like, they're dragging me down, and I just thought, I just need a fresh challenge. I've been at the job for 4.5 years. Like I started at 16.
Yeah, a long time.
My literal first day of teaching was actually my GCSE results day.
Oh, what? Wow.
Yeah.
If you're sitting at home doing nothing, you teenagers.
2018. But I was like, there were some people who were dragging me down, and I needed a new, fresh, challenge. And also, if people of Hinckley, if you're listening from Hinckley, it's very quiet, and I was 20 or 21, 22. I'm like, I need a new challenge, and I was like, I just need a new, fresh start, and sometimes it's good to have it.
It's 100%.
And then I got down here on January 2023, the 2nd of January.
It was. I remember this guy coming into the room, and the energy and the vibrance you brought was just incredible, and it really elevated the team. But another big thing that we noticed about Joey straight away was the Makaton.
Yes.
And that you speak in Makaton, you fluent in Makaton. And I'm just going to say this right now. I've never seen it so beautifully done. When you see a kid that is non-verbal or speaks in Makaton, and you see Joey speak to them like that, and it is amazing. It's incredible to watch. It's one of those things where I sometimes go, do you know what? I need to pick up more of it, like the basics. Not saying necessarily get to fluency level, because it's very tricky sometimes, but just know some basics that you can have a conversation with. We're going to talk about that now. With your Makaton, it's an amazing skill you've picked up, and we'll talk about how you've used it and how you've progressed it. But how did you start it because it was, I want to learn Makaton? Or was it a case of you had to learn Makaton? Or was it a case of maybe a bit of both?
I kind of agree, yes. But more the chance of I had to learn it, because I've got a twin brother called Archie, and he's 1 minute older than me. But he is severely autistic, non-verbal, and severe learning difficulties. But so Makaton was a way of communicating. And
Archie is amazing. He's a brilliant guy.
Cheers, bro. But his carer, who's been like a family figure to my family all my and Archie's life from day one, she's Leicester's regional tutor. Yeah. So literally, what the chances have been brought with since day one. So I've been using it to communicate with him through any situation if we're out and about. But now he's getting to progression. Now he's got a communication device for a talk on a phone.
It's amazing.
And his sounds are getting a lot better. I can understand what words he's saying. But we still use it as a safety zone. But when he was a lot younger, we used to use it constantly all the time. Right. And then when it came to my school, my GCSE exams, I wanted to be like a sports commentator. I wanted to be like a motorbike rider in MotoGP or British Superbikes.
He's into his sports, this guy.
Or even a footballer for Leicester. But then I wasn't the smartest. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't the smartest. But then I had a thought to myself one day, and I was like, I want to do something which people appreciate me for doing, and I feel proud for doing it. So I thought, why not go down the education route for SEN, special needs? And then I actually worked at the same school where my brother was a pupil at. And when my brother's carer worked with. And because my brother was in the secondary school site, the school I worked for, Dorothy Gunman School, it was Leicestershire's main SEN school. So we had a main primary site, a main secondary site, a sixth form site, and satellite bases within mainstream schools around the county of Leicestershire. So it was like a big network. But then I applied for the job, and people of the school knew me because of Archie, my brother, and his carer, because it's been like a family thing. And then when I got the job at 16, I started working, progressing through there. And I actually worked with some of the teachers who actually taught archery from a younger age.
Oh, Joey.
So it was kind of like I had all this progression throughout the years. And then it was like my second home because like Archie was a pupil there, and his carer, Marie, who's been like a essential figure in our lives, she worked there as well. And she taught Makaton. And they used to call me the apprentice, the master and the apprentice.
Alan Sugar over it.
Yeah, master and the apprentice.
So you're talking about like obviously you use your twin brother.
Yeah.
So when you were learning Makaton, was that from literally childhood, or was it when you got older, or was it a cake? Do you know what I mean?
I'd say after the youngest I started learning was 5.
Right. Okay.
So like I had to learn the basics.
That's amazing. 5 years old and to learn that.
Because I was literally looking after my brother. I was basically like overseeing everything. I was kind of like the man of the house, if you know what I mean. So like my parents split up from like when I was like in year 6. So I had to deal with everything like the man of the house. I get everything sorted. Like be there for my brother with communication, and then like for out and about. Cause I took him on like walks and experiences, and if people communicate to him, he would know how. So I was like the peacekeeper. I was like in between, so communicating back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then I used to teach my friends it from school because they knew Archie, and they felt really bad because they wanted to communicate with them, but they didn't know how. So I did like little crash course lessons to my mates during school. And I remember one day back in my secondary school, there was a satellite base of the school I worked at. And I remember one day, this is a true story, the headmaster came up to me one day saying, "Can I borrow Joey for 1 minute?" And they're like, "Yeah, of course." And the headmaster came up to me saying, "Can you go into the Dorothy Gunman base to help teach the staff Makaton?" And for the record, I was not an employee then, I was a pupil. I was a pupil, okay?
Go, claim your money, Joey. Go on, claim your money.
I was a pupil.
You were earning it.
I was a pupil, and I was like, yeah, why not? And then, so I went into the SEM base of that school, and I taught the staff. And they're like, how? And I was like, well, my brother is at the school, people at the school, and his carer is this person. They're like, no way.
Wow.
I was like, yeah. So I literally, from a pupil, taught the staff who I'd be working with a couple of years later sign language.
Is it hard to learn? Like, because it's like another language. Like when you say like you're trying to learn French or Spanish or anything like that, and you sit there and go, God, it's just so hard, like to pick it up. But you're doing it's with your hands. So is it tricky to pick up, or is it something that's quite, when you actually get down to it, it's quite easy to pinpoint them all?
It depends how you portray it. Like there are books you can read like for diagrams, but personally, I'd look on like actual videos, like Justin Fletcher or the Makaton charity. The Makaton charity is a great way to learn because they've got all different types of categories and like what level, like foundation, level 1, level 2, and then they'll give you like video examples of it. And personally, that's how I would learn because I'm more of a visual learner.
Yeah, you're like me.
Yeah,
and obviously being at Butlins, meeting Justin Fletcher as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that must have been because he's the king of Makaton, isn't he? He's amazing.
Yeah, he is.
And like what he did with TV and children's TV was bring that audience that was maybe deprived for years of the stuff on the telly, and he brought them in and he made them feel included, and that was so beautiful. And I remember even back then as a kid, I was like, this guy's really good at what he does and bringing it all in. How was the moment when you met him? I was there the day you met him. That must have been incredible.
It was like a pinch me moment, like a surreal moment. I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit nervous.
Yeah.
But then
he's genuinely a really, really nice guy.
He knew of me before I knew him, if you know what I mean. He was like, "Are you the signing red coat?" He's like, "Oh yes, you're red coat, Joe." And I'm like, "Yeah, how do you know?" It's like, "I've heard of great things about you." And I'm not gonna lie, this is true. When I went to training this year, because I was part of one of his new shows for this year, he recognised me and he actually gave me a BBC contact email.
That's really good.
For CBeebies, and he said, "I can see you in the future working on the same lines as himself." And that was just like a wow,
a big moment. A big moment. Yeah, he's a top guy. But I always remember that moment. I was like, Joey, I was like, I love this guy. He was like starstruck. He was starstruck. But let's go on to talk a bit about your development of Makaton. Yes. And I think a big moment, I've seen it at Butlins, but I was talking about how you've used it before. You came into Butlins and you got selected for a video, wasn't it?
Yes.
A video for filming for using Makaton in work, and he was using some basic signs that you can do for people, which I think is really important, because I think sometimes it's that thing of going, not necessarily like when you learn it, you not have to learn it all in one go.
Yeah.
But sometimes the basics of learning it was amazing. How was the development as you got into, when you were fluent with it and you'd learned it all? How was the development of showcasing it in that sense? Not showcasing, that's the wrong word, but like
portraying it.
That's it.
It depends how people wanted to learn it. So I staggered it. I went from step 1 to step 2 to step 3 slowly, because I want to think like, it's little steps, little things make the biggest impact. Okay, so I started with the basic essentials like hello, please, thank you, all the like the greeting words, because that's the essential main words, and then we build it on from there. It's like, think of a building, you start with the foundation, then you start with the blueprints, and you start with the materials. So I'll start with the blueprints.
It's the same like with like other languages. We were saying you always learn like French, you always learn bonjour first. It's the basics always first.
So it was just like starting from scratch really, and then it depends how people wanted to get on well with it. And then I did the training video for the new staff at Butlins.
It was
and they have training when they join, and then they'll always see that video because it's part of their induction training. So when they come into the company, they started from there, and that was a great way of spreading awareness, because I've got a saying in life: everyone deserves the right to communicate in whichever way is unique to them. So that's always believed, and I will always say that, because it's essential. You need to cater for everyone, because you need to include everyone together. It's like on when I see guests walking around with like eye gaze technology and like communicating devices, it's their way of communicating, so we need to make more awareness of that, and that's what I brought into the company with Makaton.
It was amazing. And like when you see, like, we'll go back to what I said before, when you see you using it with someone, because that's the thing, sometimes like, I'll go and find a child, like you get lost children, don't you? Oh, well, not just lost children, but children like in general, and you go up to them and they don't speak, and the parent goes, oh, they're non-verbal. And do you know what it was? It's like that Miracle on 34th Street moment, you know, Father Christmas, where he signs to the woman, and like, it's those moments when you see a little kid's face light up, that a red coat or someone he doesn't know is signing back at him, and he can communicate, and you can see in their face like their smile just gets bigger. And I mean, for you, I think it's a bit hard, because like you might just be like, it's just me and normal, like it's the way I've been.
It's me.
It's you. But that must feel still amazing to be able to communicate with a child and see their face come back at you.
Don't get me wrong, it's just a surreal moment, and I'm glad that I actually made that memory for them. But I remember the first interaction when I joined, there was a non-verbal little girl, bless her, but she struggled to communicate. But then when I signed Makaton, her mum actually cried, because she said to me, we've been coming here for years, but you're the very first who could sign and communicate with my daughter, because like we struggled. But then when I came on the scene, I've been like there for people, and it was just nice to have that recognition.
Amazing. It's a fantastic moment when you see it. It's like, wow, it's Joey. It's man. It's just it is emotional, and like you see it, and you just go, it's those changes to the way it can work. Where do you see Makaton like going? Because I think, do you know what? I think when you think back to like, and not just Makaton, but sign language in general, is a few years ago, you wouldn't necessarily see a lot of it, but now you do see a lot more of it. And, well, I can say this from working on Disney. We had people come on that obviously needed the sign language, and they were at the front of every show signing. And it was amazing what I used to see, because, like, there used to be the Frozen show and stuff, and you'd have two of them, and they'd be acting as well as signing, which was really, really good, because obviously, like, it's inclusive for everyone. And loads of people came out, even people that weren't even Makaton listeners, were like, that was so amazing to like see that there. How far do you think it can develop? Do you think it's going to be a case of, you know, where we go to the theatre where there'll be someone always there, or do you think there's real more development for it? I
always see it as a slow road. It's getting more awareness by the year. Like, even if it's small, it's huge. It's like we've got like you said, like shows or concert, you've got sign language translators. You've got now at Arsenal Football Club, they've got a signer when they're announcing the squads.
They do.
They've also got like loads of things everywhere, like at airports or train stations. They've got signer interpreters as well. And also, I don't know if you've noticed though, but on TNT Sports, they've got a program called Sign Up, and that's with two sign language presenters communicating through sign language, and they do all different types of sports, like mainly football and tennis. But that's one of a great show and they're using sign language throughout that show to promote awareness. And I just think that's amazing, but it's a long road. It's important as well, because sometimes you get people who are like, we just won't say anything and we'll go and watch the show and things like that. It won't be a problem. Like we'll happily watch. They'll happily like watch the show anyway. And I think it's important for those people that feel like they can't ask to have it there anyway. Do you know what I mean? I think that's why, like, necessarily maybe for future theatre shows, it would be nice that maybe in a few years' time, then down the line, there's always someone signing in the corner. Yeah. Maybe as well, just for like, just
inclusivity, as you were saying.
Because you never know. Don't judge a book by its cover. Disabilities aren't sometimes visible. So you never know. Someone could be like fully talking, but they might not understand. They might find it hard to process words. And I dealt it quite a lot when I was teaching. I had a few kids in my class who were non-verbal who required it. Then I had a few post-moderate learning difficulty children in my class who could communicate by speech, but they struggled to process our speech. And they use Makaton as their form of communication to communicate to us.
It's so right, because I think a lot of people think it's just for deaf people, but it's not. It's for people, like as you said, that are non-verbal, that it's more inclusive than just people that can't hear. Do you know what I mean?
You just never know with disabilities, so it's always good to have that, just in case, because you just never know, do you? And that brings everyone together, that includes everyone.
Where would you like to go with your Makaton? Like, what would be your end goal? Where would you like to take it? Would you like to take it into your own show or something like that?
Tough question. Probably yes, because it's probably never been done before, and it's like, for example, it's with me, something along the terms of like something special with Mr. Tumble or something like that, or even just in like for example, if Leicester City have an offer for us, I'm enjoying the translator. Bring it on. Bring it on.
He would be there.
Definitely, but no, you never know what's around the corner. It's like with my job at the moment, you never know what's around the corner. I'm so lucky to have these amazing experiences and work with talented, great people every single day. But you never know what's around the corner, so always keep your ear out, because you never know what will be there.
And your brother is amazing. Like, I've met him loads of times, and you must be proud of him as well.
I am, and it's
you must be so proud.
He's developed so much throughout the years. When he was his younger age, he used to have to go on a lot, but now he's like fully independent. Like, he can go places and he can like settle in, but his speech has got a lot better, and that makes me quite emotional as well, because we've been through that journey. And we had a charity set up for him called Archie's Voice, because we tried to find Archie's Voice, and we used to raise a lot of money. And then one of the key points is we went to dolphin therapy in Turkey, Marmaris, and that was a key point in his life, because it developed more independent skills for him. And now he can do a lot more things. He's very sociable outside as well, and it's amazing. It's like a before and after. It's amazing to see his progress through life. And then when he comes here, he loves socialising with people. Like you said, you've met him a few times, and then he loves interacting with new people.
Sweet kid.
And he loves life, and it's just kind of like, what we do is like, he's life is based on experiences. So we give him loads of new experiences, and that just makes his day. It's just new things, and it's just amazing to see his progression through life. I'm not gonna lie, he literally graduated college a couple of weeks ago, and that was like a wow, scary rate, because we don't know where he's going to go now, because it's like he's at the education system, but we all know he's going to enjoy it.
Absolutely, 100%. I think we should learn some Makaton.
Okay,
I'm actually like,
I'm all for it.
We talked about the basics.
Yes,
I think we're going to do for the podcast. I think just learning some basic words, and just give us like 4 or 5 words or phrases that we can just show now that like people can take on board and go, I'm just going to use that in me.
Of course, I'm more than happy to. So the thing with Makaton is it depends on your dominant hand, also known as what hand you write with. So I write with my right hand, so my dominant hand is my right hand. What hand do you write with?
I write with my right hand.
So you're saying this here.
Yeah.
So would you like to learn some of the basics?
I would love to learn the basics.
So hello is just normally round a circle with your hand. That's it. Hello.
Oh, hello.
And then goodbye is just like normal goodbye.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah. Yes is clench your fist, and we go down for yes.
Yes.
Yes, that's it. No, straight up.
No's like that.
Yeah. More. So what we do for more. So for example, we write with our right hand, so we use our left hand to clench fist. But if your left hand is your right arm.
Okay.
And then we use our dominant hand to place on top for more.
More.
Finish. Both hands together. That's it.
Hey.
Yeah, and we go. And this is please as well. So please with your right hand. Please.
This is please and thank you are quite similar.
Yeah. So thank you is shorter.
So please is longer.
Yeah.
Thank you's like
please and thank you.
Please and thank you.
So there.
Is it 2 fingers for?
So it's 4.
4. Cool.
Yeah. Thank you. So please is longer, and then thank you is shorter. And then normally some of the basics, but we could do like emotions as well. Emotions is a great one.
Oh yes.
So we can do for happy. So use your left hand as your least dominant, and we use your right as your most dominant, and we like that. So we cup the part of your hand.
Okay.
So happy, that's it. And then for sad, we use our dominant hand to go down the face for sad. Sad. Excited, we use both hands to our chest, and we go excited.
Oh yeah, I've seen this one. I like this
excited.
one.
But then angry is the same, but we claw it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then because we've got to be careful sometimes when we sign, because sometimes you can mean excited, but sometimes people might portray it as angry.
Right.
So this is one thing I say to people: you've got to be careful because you don't know what you might say.
Right.
So that's why I give loads of crash courses. Because in one of Justin Fletcher's show this year, there's a signing element.
Yeah.
And when we did the training, I remember loads of people came to me saying, "I don't want to offend anyone because it's language." I'm like, "This is why I'm here to help."
Yeah.
And then it's just like one of those stepping stones, you see. So it's kind of like, this is why I'm here. So there are all some of the basics and some of the emotions. Yeah. Anything else you want to learn?
What about some phrases? What about some things like "Can I help?" or like things like that? Like, mate, that'd be like, "Where are you going?" or something like that.
So we could do, "How are you?" So
how are you?
How are you? Yeah. Welcome.
Welcome.
Are you okay?
Are you okay?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Can I help? So.
Sorry, what was that again? Sorry.
So can I?
Can I
help?
Help.
That's it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes, that's nice. And I think that's important. Like we've got some basics there. Thanks for that. It's nice to see that. And just take those basics, because sometimes, not necessarily the fluency, but if you can like just gauge like an engagement with them, then you can sort of work it out from there as well.
Exactly. It's like when you start with like the basics, you get to learn it from like stepping stones up. It's like level 1 level to level 3. It's like, even though you're just doing one side, it's better. It's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Little things make the big
What about
difference.
some animals?
Animals. All right then. So we go. This is for giraffe. Okay.
Okay.
So it's like we go for the neck, giraffe, and the animal head.
Giraffe.
Because the sign for animal is that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is
this is the tricky part, mate.
That's what I have to bear with.
So we go. So we use your middle finger and your fourth finger to the thumb.
Right.
We use your index and pinky finger for like, think of horns.
Yes.
So animal. We go cat for 2 fingers. Yeah.
Oh, cat.
Dog. So 2 fingers.
Dog.
That's it. Dog.
I know tiger's this.
Yeah. Tiger. Lion. Think of a mane. And growl.
Right.
Yeah.
What about zebra? That's my favourite animal.
Zebra.
Zebra.
So Z. And then animal. That's the sign for Z.
So. Okay. That one.
Z. And then animal.
And then animal.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, there we go. That sounds.
And then normally I do like farm animals, farm-dead animals. So we go pig.
Pig.
Cow.
Cow.
Sheep. So we use our pinky fingers across the cheek.
Sheep.
Sheep. What was that? Chicken. Of course.
Oh, love that.
Duck. Duck. This is one of my favourite ones.
Okay, go on.
Whale.
Whale.
That's one of my favourite ones. I'm like, whale.
Love that.
Because some people say to me, if you have to choose your favourite sign, I get this asked all the time. What's your favourite sign, Joey? And I always go, whale.
That's amazing. I love that. I love that. Thank you for that. That was amazing. Amazing.
No worries.
I think we should finish this talking about football.
Come on,
we
the
love
beautiful
the
game.
Football. Look at his face bright up now. The beautiful game. And obviously, massive Leicester fan.
Of course.
You're back in the Premier League again.
I know, back where we belong.
Yeah, how's it feel? How was it last year being back in the Championship and then be back?
I mean, the year before, I thought we were going to struggle anyway because we sold our captain legend Kasper Schmeichel for £1 million, and I thought we were.
Then you bought Danny Ward.
The less about and the better. Yeah, I knew we were going to struggle, and it was because of the backtrack of COVID. Because unlike any other clubs, they normally have betting sponsors. We're duty free. King Power is duty free, and of course it's travel as well. So we were affected by COVID. So I thought we were going to struggle because we had a brilliant squad but on very high wage. An aging squad as well. We had Johnny Evans at centre back.
Yeah, good player though.
Good player, but very aging, but like very high wage team. And I thought we were going to struggle, but then we had the inconsistency because we bought no players in the summer window. So we all relied on loanees in January.
Yeah, wasn't that the window you just bought Wout Faes in or something?
Wout Faes, and we had Tate. I remember Tate. He came on against Villa. He was like our version of Neymar, but he wasn't. To be fair, people like overhyped him. And I was like, he ain't gonna do well. But then we had that season, and we had Brendan Rodgers. The struggle of Brendan Rodgers, and what I heard from mixed reviews from Leicester City fans, from my mates and my family. To begin with, we wanted him out, but we got rid of him too late in the season.
Right.
But then we backtracked and we thought he should have had the right to have a fight for us.
We won the FA Cup, didn't we?
Yeah, of course. I actually went to that game.
Oh,
FA Cup final.
Talking about managers, Chelsea got Enzo Maresca. And I don't really know a lot about him. I don't know really what to expect. So as a Chelsea fan, please tell me what I can expect from Enzo Maresca as a manager.
So, from a Leicester fan's point of view, of course we had the awful season last year when we had Brendan Rodgers and Dean Smith. Oh, Dean Smith, yeah. And then we just wanted to raise that year. But then we all thought, hang on a minute, we're back in the Championship. We could regroup, revitalise, revamp and play more spicy football. Mm-hmm. And then when I thought we had Maresca, because we were linked with so many other managers, I remember we were linked with Rob Edwards from Luton at one point, which I didn't mind. But then we were linked with some others. We were actually linked with Steve Cooper back then, but who is now our manager now.
No.
But with Enzo Maresca, I thought it would be a good one because, like, he was under Pep's wing, and we all know the other manager came under Pep's wing, Mikel Arteta. Yeah. And we all thought, hang on a minute, this could be interesting because it's an outsider, and I like an outsider, like management. But then I'm not going to lie, I thought it would be a straightforward season for us because we had too many players who were too good for the Championship. Yeah. Like Dewsbury Hall, like Ricardo Pereira, Wilfred Ndidi.
You had the best squad in the Championship.
And of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Jamie Vardy, Mr. 1 million. And then we would dominate the season. We even bought like Harry Winks.
I know.
And Harry Winks was quality for us. And I thought, Harry Winks, what a signing. But then we had like Patson Daka, but we had Stefan Mavididi, who is an absolute ball. And didn't you know Man United and Juventus were linked with him? Well, he came to us. That says something about Stefan Mavididi. And then the very first game was against Coventry. And that's one of our biggest rivals, but it depends who you ask. So, for example, you say like probably Tottenham or Fulham or Arsenal or even West Ham are your rivals. But it depends which Leicester fan you ask. If you ask me, I think Forest are our rivals. But if you ask any other Leicester fan, for example, like my dad, he thinks Coventry City are our biggest rival because he was brought up with Coventry City winning the FA Cup back in the day.
Yeah.
And we've got so many rivals like Forest, Derby, Coventry, Villa, Wolves, West Brom, Birmingham, so many in the Midlands. But it depends who you ask. But then we started that season, we had a 2-1 win against Coventry, Dewsbury Hall last minute goal, unbelievable. And I remember that, even though I didn't go to the game, I remember that because my dad was sending me loads of footage. Because my dad's a season ticket holder at Leicester. I'm a season ticket holder at Leicester. But since I've moved down to Bognor Regis, I've not managed to go. So he's got my season ticket. So his mate, all of my friends could go. They still pay me.
Yeah.
But we had such an amazing start to the season. And we all thought we were going to blow the league away. But then around November, December, January time, we started to hit a massive blip. We started losing silly games. And we were like, hang on a minute. Like, we were third at one point, and people thought we would be one of the biggest bottle jobs in history.
Yeah, well, because you were miles clear,
and then we started to revitalise again. And I heard so many people weren't happy with Maresca's style of play towards the end of the season. But then we won the league in the end by, we playing Preston North End away with a 2-0 win against Preston North End away. I remember that because I was watching on Sky Sports in the pub. And I was the only Leicester fan and in one of the local pubs, proudly wearing my blue shirt. And I was cheering, of course. But then we played the last game of the season at home to Blackburn because Blackburn needed to win to stay up.
Yes.
And we already won the league by then. I remember because my dad went to that game with some of his mates. It was all party vibe, like beers and like good. Bucket hats. And I remember saying to my dad, "What do you want the outcome to be?" He says, "I don't even care, but we've already won the league." But then we lost 2-0 to Blackburn, which actually kept Blackburn up.
Kept Blackburn up, didn't it? Yeah.
And there was a player which I liked from there called Sammy Swaddicks.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Swaddicks. I'm actually hoping he comes to us because he's an absolute baller. But then we won the league, and there was loads of celebrations in Leicester City Centre, which was unbelievable. Like in the centre, if you don't know, if some people from Leicester are listening, in the clock tower near Tim Hortons area, it was busy, it was vibey, it was proper vibey. But then we also, when we heard reports that Maresca might leave, because you, as a Chelsea fan, I was a bit shocked when you sat there.
I didn't really, I was a bit like, I was surprised with Zach Pochettino, but when we brought Maresca in, I was like, oh, well, we'll see how it goes. You know, he plays Pep's style of football and that kind of thing. But the big thing with me was Leicester fans were happy he'd gone. And that was like, why have we employed a manager that Leicester fans are actually happy that he's gone out of the club? Do you know what I mean? But we talk about success and the celebrations. I mean, nothing could probably beat the celebrations when you won the league.
2015-16, 5,000 to 1. One of the greatest seasons, if not the greatest sporting story in history. And I remember the day, 2nd of May, 2016, Chelsea versus Tottenham.
Yeah, well, we helped you out there, see?
2-2. This is why I've got a bit of a soft spot for Chelsea, okay? They helped us win the league. And I remember I was watching that game with my dad at my dad's house. Eden Hazard scoring the absolute curl of a ball in the last few minutes. And we were all celebrating, and my dad's not an emotional person at all. The only time I saw my dad cry was when we won the league, we lifted the Premier League, and we won the FA Cup. But that season, all right, so if we go back to the season before, 2014-15, when we got promoted back to the Premier League, we thought we were going to go down and out because we were like bottom at Christmas, and stats back then, no one would survive.
No. It was the whole story of it, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then we managed to get this running form, and we managed to do the Great Escape. And I remember when we played West Brom away, and I remember West Brom had a commemorative kit back then. It was like an all-white commemorative kit. And I actually went to that game to Hawthorns, and it was like in the last few minutes, Jamie Vardy went on goal and he scored, and that was one of the stepping stones.
Jamie Vardy's having a party.
Of course, and then that's one of the key points of making us stay up. And I remember back then we had like Cambiasso.
Yeah, man.
Espen Cambiasso was there for a year. He was actually our player of the season of that season, actually kept us up. And then Nigel Pearson kept us up. And then when he got the sack, I remember because I was away in Turkey on holiday, he got the sack. We're like, what's this? What's going on? But then we heard some other stories behind the scenes. We're like, who are we going to get in next? And then we announced Claudio Ranieri.
Ranieri, it was like, what?
And my response was, really? Bear in mind, Ranieri, who was manager of Greece, and he lost to the Faroe Islands, which made him get the sack from Greece. And I remember Gary Lineker's tweet saying, like, really? Claudio Ranieri, really? And I thought we were going to struggle. But then we played our first home game of that season against Sunderland. We had a great result then. We had these loads of great streaks. And I remember I was watching Match of the Day that day, and Gary Lineker was like, oh, we look nice being top of the league. It'll be, of course, be different in May. We were knowing the rest of history. But then we had that...
The boxes.
I know.
Amazing.
But then we had that long continuous streak, and then we lost to Arsenal. Arsenal were the only team who managed to beat us twice that year. And then we were the only team back in the first few games who actually scored in every single game. But then, of course, when Jamie Vardy...
11 is heaven for Vardy.
I went to the game, Man United at home, and then Christian Fuchs gave a massive ball into Vardy. Oh, that cross from Fuchs. Vardy, bottom corner. And I remember the words... It's heaven. It's 11 for Jamie Vardy. Yeah. Hold the back page. Hold the front page. A Leicester player smashed the record.
He was amazing.
But then the thing about Leicester was we managed to find bargains. Like we bought Vardy for $1 million a couple of years before from Fleetwood Town.
Kante.
N'Golo Kante for a couple of million from Cannes.
£5 million.
Yeah, £5 million is nothing nowadays. And I heard a news though, like he took over the whole world really from all his progression. We bought Leonardo Ulloa from Brighton.
Mahrez was only a couple of million.
It was actually 500k.
Wow.
Riyad Mahrez was 500k from a Ligue 2 club in the second division of France.
What is going on?
And one of his first games was against Blackpool at home, and I went to that game in the championship winning year. And he did a colour outside the box. I was like, that man is special.
There's a lot of misfits as well. Like even people like Danny Simpson,
Danny Drinkwater.
It's kicked out of QPR, I think it was, of Danny Simpson.
We bought him off from QPR. Christian Fuchs on a free transfer. Robert Hoof.
It was just mad. And then Wes Morgan.
Mark Brighton, free agent.
Exactly. And then Wes Morgan at the back. You know what a story.
Yeah.
You wrote down there. You've also wrote down your favourite Leicester player at the moment.
Yeah.
Your favourite moment from that season was.
So. This was I say my favourite from season 2015-16 was probably the game against Liverpool when Vardy did that lob against Mignolet. But I've done something from our championship winning season this season.
Okay.
So when we got promoted back to the Premier League this season. So if you don't know, we had a youngster called Abdul Fattah, okay? Who we've now bought permanently. Abdul Fattah was an absolute baller. One of our, if not our signing of the season. And it was very tough to choose a game from the season just gone.
Yeah.
Okay, so I thought, which one can I do? Which one we were more dominant at? Because normally Leicester, we're very inconsistent at the back. We normally concede, but I went for Leicester City 5, Southampton 0.
Wow.
Okay, and I will tell you the story because...
Don't let Jem hear you say that.
He's going to hate you for this.
He's going to get rid of this.
I remember all the news stories because we were top of the league by a couple of points. And it was getting towards the end of the season. Southampton were 3rd or 4th in the playoff spaces. And I generally thought it would be a 2-2 draw. And then my dad went to the game, and I said to my dad, what do you think the prediction will be? I said 2-2, he said 2-2. Most of the Leicester fans thought it was a draw. But then, when I kept on, because I was working that day, and I just heard loads of like BBC Sport or FOTMob notifications, Leicester City keep on scoring. I'm like, hang on a minute, am I reading this right? 5-0?
Yeah, it was mad, wasn't it?
5-0? And then, full time, I was like, hang on a minute, that's probably our best performance. And after the fact, we've got an absolute hat-trick. He got a hat-trick. And if you see the last goal, special.
It's amazing. Do you think you're going to stay out next year?
My heart says yes, but if I'm being logical, I think we'll struggle because when Maresca went, I wanted Graham Potter. Because I thought Graham Potter, because yes, he went to you guys, but it was a big of a club.
He's holding up for England,
yeah.
isn't he? He's holding
and
out.
I thought Leicester would be a great size of a club. He went to Brighton,
Yeah,
did bits at Brighton.
He's a good manager.
And I thought we could do great for us. And I thought, hang on, we're getting Graham Potter. But then my dad rang me and he said, I'd rather want Steve Cooper because my dad wanted Steve Cooper, funny enough, before we got Enzo Maresca.
Yeah, it's mad as well because he's Forest as well, isn't he?
Yeah, and we've got Steve Cooper in now. We bought Fatu permanently, which is amazing. We bought this guy called Caleb Okweli from Atalanta or something. I don't know too much about him. Apparently he's a very solid centre-back. But I feel like we struggle because we've got this points deduction coming.
Yeah,
it's not been confirmed yet, but I've heard either -6 to -12. So I think...
People staying up is the main thing, isn't it?
People think we've got that fighting aspect of us because out of us, Ipswich and Southampton, it will be a great fight because I thought Ipswich did really, really well with back-to-back promotions, and I really like the manager Kieran McKenna. But of course, I want us to stay up, but I think it will be tough.
It's going to be very, very tough. But I think it's great to have Leicester back in the league.
Of course.
And who never knows, it could be another 5,000 to 1.
Oh,
They've got rid of those odds now. Like, we're not paying out 5,000.
But you just never know in the beautiful game.
You never know in the beautiful game. Joey, it has been an absolute pleasure having you
By
on.
all means, man.
Mate,
Great
you've
to
been
be on the
absolutely
show.
brilliant. Don't forget to actually, do you know what? Can you sign the outro?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Sign the outro. This is tough as well because he can also just on the spot do it. Here we go.
All right.
Thank you very much for joining DS Podcast with the wonderful, handsome, beautiful I'm joking. Host, that is myself, David Summerfield. Thank you very much to Joey, who has come and joined me here on the podcast this week. And we'll see you soon for another very special episode. See you later, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.